for those of you who are here, the 40 or 50 folks who are here this week, again, thank you for letting us keep you here a little bit longer on what's been a very intense couple of days. So thank you for that. I'd like to welcome some of the colleagues from last year's course in Delhi. I think we've only got one or two of them. I don't know where they are right now. There they are. There are the two. Thank you very much for coming. It's kind of above and beyond the call of duty, so I really appreciate that. So we also have some alumni maybe, I know one, from the Sussex course, because we also run this program in Brighton, in the UK. We've done that for 4 years. And I know where's John gone? John is here, and I don't think there are any other Sussex alumni here. So, and John's based in Delhi with MI. So thank you all very much for being here. I'm thanking you really on behalf of the Transform Nutrition team. And Transform Nutrition is a research consortium that involves IFPRI, which is where Purnima and I are, PHFI, which is several of our colleagues, Shweta and other colleagues, are involved in, and IDS, which is where Sam Reddin, who's the communications lead for the Transform Nutrition Coalition. She's here. She's been very helpful in organizing this. So what is this? Well, leadership in nutrition is really, really difficult. There's a saying in the US, I'm sure you've heard it, you don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps. I don't know if that's a particular idiom in Delhi or in India, but it's something we hear about in the US and the UK. And I won't say you have to be crazy to work in nutrition, and I won't even say it helps, but I think you do need to have particular sets of leadership skills to be really, really effective. And those leadership skills are, I can think of three, there are many of them, but three of them in particular: the ability to work across sectors and across disciplines with people who may not think the way you think and may not have the same training that you have, may use different language to the language you use. That's the first one. I think the second one is the ability to communicate really complicated, tricky, technical stuff in a way that you don't lose the big picture, because the big picture is really important. If you lose that, you're lost. But you also need the technical details, because nutrition is such a highly technical issue. If you get it wrong on the technical stuff, then you're in the potential realm of actually doing harm rather than good. So the ability to go from big picture to details and back up and communicate that effectively, really difficult. And then the final sort of, I think, leadership attribute is the ability to combine evidence with implementation with policy. And all three of those, I hope you've seen that over the last 2 days, all three of those things, each of the instructors is good at one of those things at least. I from interacting with all of you, I can see that a lot of you are very programmatic, but you can also think about how this evidence makes a difference to the kinds of work I'm doing, or how a policy makes it easier or harder for me to do my implementation work. So, and the questions and comments we've gotten from you have been really, really good. How many times have you heard the faculty say, that's a really good question? And also, how many times have you heard them say, I don't have a good answer for you? And that's because you're asking the right questions and really good questions. So I think these three things about leadership are really important. And that's why we started this course up 5 years ago, because we wanted to create this environment where people could talk not just about the causes and the consequences, but also about what do we do about it. And what do we do, not just in a technical way, but what do we do in a political way as well. We're all evidence-based, the faculty, but we all have activist perspectives. And I think many of you were attracted to that, and many of you share the same attributes. So in many ways, I'm speaking to the converted. So these leadership attributes, I think, are really important. They need to be fostered, and they also need to be celebrated. So that's the purpose of tonight. It's to help network, help foster leadership, and alliance building. Networking is it's very important to all of that, but it's also to celebrate, celebrate leadership. So this is the launching of our network. It's a very select, exclusive group of about 200 people, because that's how many folks we've had participate in these programs over the last 4 years. 4 years in Brighton and 2 years in Delhi since we added the policy components, and that's about 200 people. So you're part of that group. We don't just accept anyone onto these courses. You have to fit a certain profile. You have to have some technical background, but you also have to be in a position where you can be influential, and you have to demonstrate in your applications that you want to be influential and you want to affect change in a very active and proactive way. So you're part of this group. So the network is really, we're launching the network, and the network is about connecting the 200 of you via a Facebook page. I don't know how many of you use social media. If you do, Sam, I don't know if they already have the details or if you're going to share the details. Following this event. We'll set up a platform for you that you can interact in other ways. We're looking for people to be ambassadors as well, which means to help highlight some of the work that we're doing. We've asked a couple of you to make some presentations, a couple of you to make some presentations on work you've done that the course has helped you advance after you've done the course. But you may choose to be very minimal participation, and that's also fine. You're all very busy, you're all very active, you've got lots of other things to do. Use the network as it suits you. If you find it helpful to make connections, please do. If you want to distance yourself a bit, that's fine too. I use the network all the time. When we're organizing, the current thing I'm doing spending a lot of time on is Global Nutrition Report launches, and I use the network to reach out to people, to ask them if they'd like to be involved in launches and to be on panels, and to draw in the right people in different countries and different contexts. And I find it really useful, and I reciprocate by showing up at events or giving comments on policy pieces or sometimes research papers or a whole range of things.